I am a planner. I sit down on Sunday afternoon or Monday morning and I write out my schedule for the week. There is a Tri-County Unitarian Universalist outing on Tuesday morning and a Tri-County potluck Friday night. There is a UUCLC meeting Wednesday afternoon and Friday morning. I agreed to meet with someone Thursday afternoon. I signed up for a denominational meeting Tuesday night. There's a school event for one of my grandchildren on Saturday. I have an appointment for an oil change on Wednesday morning. And I know that somewhere in there I need to write and practice a sermon, buy groceries, eat, shower, and sleep.
And bake vegan cookies.
And bake vegan cookies. Usually it all gets done. But what if I need to prioritize? Way back when, I was taught a planning grid. I expect many of you were too. There are 4 squares. Is it urgent and important? Is it urgent but not important? Is it important but not urgent? Is it not urgent and not important? I may be cleaning the bathroom. I expect many of you will agree that a clean bathroom is important. But then I happen to look out the bathroom window and see the neighbors' children up on their roof, all decked out in superhero capes. I am not going to keep cleaning the bathroom. I'm going to go outside and get those children safely off the roof before they jump. A clean bathroom may be important, but keeping the children safe is both important and urgent. My boss wants the monthly report by 5 tonight. I may doubt that the boss ever actually reads any of my monthly reports, so perhaps I class that as urgent but not important. I plan to get it done and in on time because this is my boss after all. But if my spouse calls today and says they think they're having a heart attack and they're on the way to the hospital, my boss is not going to get my monthly report today. Something both urgent and important has taken precedence. One has to be careful with this grid, however. It can be tempting to put things you do for yourself all in that not important and not urgent box. Watching reruns of Doc Martin while eating popcorn on your sofa may be in what you consider the not urgent and not important box. But if you really need a rest break, maybe you need to move it into one of those boxes that is a little more urgent or a little more important. The urgent, important grid can be used for planning your own to-do list, but it can also be used for organizations. During a pandemic, it may be both urgent and important to get the congregation up and running for online worship and meetings. A congregation may decide that it would really like to buy more hymnals, but that it's not urgent and it's not the highest thing on the importance list because the words are up on the screen on Sunday. And not everybody can read the music. One of the elements of highest importance in any congregation is the volunteers, you. We tell you at least once a year at pledge time, now for this congregation, that we need your time, your talent, and your treasure. Hopefully, we also tell you more than once a year, thank you. Congregations also realize that not every member and friend of the congregation has time, talent, and treasure in equal measure. If you're working full-time and are a caregiver for a family member, you likely don't have a whole lot of time you can give. Maybe you do things that you can do in one small block of time. You volunteer one Sunday in the kitchen. You serve as an usher. If you have the time, though, your congregation has plenty of need for you. All volunteers who have any time at all that you give are needed. Thank you. Talents vary. If you have a bad back, you likely aren't going to volunteer or should not be volunteering to set up tables or hoe up the garden. If you have some memory issues, you likely aren't going to volunteer to chair a committee. If you don't own a computer, you likely aren't going to volunteer to be the note taker for a committee. People give in their areas of ability and expertise. Maybe you take wonderful notes, or you're tech savvy, or you're a natural born leader. All talents are appreciated. And so are the contributions of those not sure you have the talent, but are willing to see if you can develop it. Thank you. Treasures vary too. Members are asked to make an annual contribution of record, but there's no minimum. If you're worried about whether your money is going to last till the end of the month, or that you will have enough to cover your rent or mortgage, you're not likely to commit large amounts of money to the congregation. If, however, you feel like you're comfortably cared for, to cover your own needs and have money to spare, well then, the congregation would love some. From $5 to thousands of dollars, your financial contributions are appreciated. Thank you. In the Christian tradition, only one disciple was named as a rock, Simon, then called Rock, in Greek Peter, on whom the Christian church was built. In our Unitarian Universalist tradition, every person is a rock. It is you, the people, that are most important, the rocks in the jar. If a congregation forgets that and starts concentrating on the pebbles in the sand, the congregation will not last long. And please don't start comparing yourselves to one another. She's a diamond, I'm quartz. He's gold, I'm pyrite. Or the other way around, I'm the emerald, they're stones. We want to say thank you to everyone for everything. At our annual denominational meeting, General Assembly, when it is in person, you will see people with multiple ribbons flowing from their name tags. One may mean that they are serving as a delegate from their congregation. Another may mean that their congregation has given their fair share amount to the denomination. Another that the congregation is a welcoming congregation. Another that the congregation has green sanctuary status. Another that they have a campus ministry. Another that they've voted to accept the 8th principle. The ribbons are a sign of honor, yes, but the bigger point of the ribbons is to have other people ask about them. What's that one for? Oh, that sounds interesting. I wonder if my congregation would be interested in that. I know I am. Some congregations do the same with ribbons. Ushers have a ribbon to designate they are the people who can direct newcomers. Membership, or now here at UUCLC, congregational support, have ribbons so that newcomers know who to ask about the congregation. Other groups such as Social Action, Welcoming Congregation, Legacy Fund members may also have ribbons. The point, as a General Assembly, is for people to ask, what's that for? Maybe some who ask will also be interested in the project. Not everyone in a congregation is going to join social action committee. Not everyone is going to be interested or have the ability to serve on the tech team. Not everyone has the money that will help with a mortgage or give to a legacy fund. That does not mean that all who do should not be recognized and thanked. Growing up, my mother, my grandfather, my grandmother, and an uncle all taught religious education classes. My father would not have been able to do that. But if anything broke at the church where I was growing up, the wiring, the plumbing, the furniture, my father was the person you called to fix it. One was not more important than the other. Everyone is important. The people are the rocks in the jar of a congregation. A building, the music, the potlucks, the worship services, the social gatherings, they are only there for and because of the people. In my childhood, there was a Sunday school song I learned, one verse of which was, "The church is not a building, the church is not a steeple, the church is not a resting place, the church is a people." Neither Tri-County Unitarian Universalists or the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Lake County, the two congregations I serve, name themselves church. But the point is the same. The people are the rocks, the most important things in the jar. Unitarian Universalist minister Reverend Diana Davies tells this story, the spider and the very important person. She says, "I'd like to share a story with you today, a story about a simple little spider who did an amazing thing. You'll find versions of this story in Christian, Jewish, and Muslim traditions, and in ancient Japanese folk tales as well. In the Christian version, the baby Jesus, Mary, and Joseph are hiding from King Herod. In the Jewish version, a young David is hiding from King Saul. In the Muslim version, the Prophet Muhammad and his friend Abu Bakr are hiding from a crowd of people who want to harm them outside the city of Mecca. And in the Japanese version, the great shogun warrior Yoritomo is hiding from his enemies. In all the stories, though, the spider is just a spider. Once upon a time, a very important person was watching a spider weave her web, and the very important person thought to herself, why in the world did God make spiders? What good are they? They aren't beautiful or cute. They can't do tricks. They don't guard the house or make anything we humans can eat or wear. They don't sing or make interesting sounds. And those webs they're always building are just a nuisance. And the little spider overheard her, but she didn't care. She just kept working on her web. Soon, though, the very important person was in trouble. Her enemies were out to get her. She had to run and hide. She hid in the deepest, darkest cave she could find, but was still worried that the enemies would find her. Just then, she noticed that the little spider had started building a new web at the entrance to the cave. She was afraid to shoo her away for fear that her enemies might hear, so she just stayed very quiet and watched the spider work. In no time, the cave entrance was completely covered by the web. And it was just in time because right then, the very important person's enemies came running up to the cave. But they didn't go in. "Ick," they said. "No need to go into this cave. Look at that big spider web. It's clear no one's been here for a long time." And the very important person realized something very important that day. Wow, spiders are the best. So what if they're not beautiful or cute and can't do tricks or sing and can't guard the house or make things that humans can eat or wear? The spider deserves our kindness and respect. And the spider just shrugged her many, many little shoulders and said, just doing what spiders do. but thanks for noticing. Have you ever looked closely at a spider's web? Each individual thread is so thin and delicate you can barely see it, but the web itself is incredibly strong. And this great strong web is made by just one little spider, just doing what spiders do best. What the very important person in our story came to understand is that every being is worthy of respect and kindness. Every being has a precious life to live. Even the littlest spider can save the life of a very important person. Even the littlest spider is very important too. So choose people first. They are the rocks in our jar. All the rest is the pebbles and the sand. Let us give thanks for the gift of each other. By other hands and other hearts, we are blessed, and may we bless others in turn. Amen.